Hi all, so we'll see that how we'll be going to solve this sheet, and for this sheet you have to first of all understand that what all values are being given in various cells. So see, these are the different students name and these are the 5 different subject marks: subject 1 marks, subject 2 marks, subject 3 marks, subject 4 marks and subject 5 marks, right? Wherein one of the student is absent in 2 of the subject also. So we are having some text values also and we are having some numerical values also, right? And what we have to do, we have to basically first of all use some formula, then we have to find out the percentage with percent symbol, and then we have to learn that how to use VLOOKUP and if. So if we look that where we have to use VLOOKUP and if, so see what is there. This I'll show you. I'll drag the screen to make you understand. First of all, let me rub these all symbols which are lying over here. Now see what is there. If you just drag the sheet, you see here. Here we have to find out the result and here we have to find out the grade. So to find out the result, we are already having some conditions given over here. Where are the conditions? So these are the conditions which are given over here. If the student has scored more than 50% marks, then the result is pass, otherwise fail. So this is greater than equals to 50 basically, right? And similarly, on the basis of the total percentage scored by the student, we have to give the student grade also. So this is a vertical arrangement of another small table wherein 2 columns are over there. In first column, various marks are given in percentage, and against each and every percentage mentioned over here, various grades are being given. So on the basis of this criteria, using VLOOKUP function, we have to extract the grade. So now we'll start working on this sheet. So first of all, we just rub all these symbols which are lying over here so that we are having a clean sheet. Now see here firstly, how we'll use, what we'll do, we'll write a formula over here. So for this, I'll go back to the cell. So I have selected a cell. Now I'll write a formula equals to sum and I'll select all the marks which are being scored by the students ranging from B4 to F4. So I select in this way. So this is B4 colon F4. It is a range. I can give the marks using comma operator also, comma separator also, and see if the marks are given in different cells and which are not lying in adjacent to each other. In that case, we use number 1 comma number 2, extracting all the numbers from various cells. Here, as the marks are being given in continuity, hence we are using range, that is B4 to F4. I'll close the bracket, press enter, right? Now to just fill or to extract, or you can say to calculate the total sum scored by various students, what we can do, we have to just select all the cells which are towards downward, and then we have to press Ctrl D. So what it is doing, it is filling all the cell by copying the formula in each and every cell, and whenever you click on any of the cell, you see the cell addresses for this particular cell is B6 to P6. So because it is actually following the relative addressing. So relative addressing, we haven't freezed any of the cell. So this is B4 to F4. When we copy the formula, this B4 becomes B5, F4 becomes F5. Like here, see B4, now it has become B5 to F5. Now see, to calculate the percentage with symbol percent, one thing we have to remember, that we have to always check what is lying in this percentage in this format box. So right now the format is percentage. We have to look from here, right? The format should be percentage. As the this cell is having the format as percentage, that is why how we can just have a marks scored in percentage. We have to simply use equals to symbol, then the total score scored by the student divided by out of, that is 500, right? Again we'll follow the same practice. We will select all the cells which are towards downward and we fill all the cell with the formula, copying the formula which is already there in H4, and for this the shortcut is Control D, that is fill down. Now move over here. Now here comes other formulas. First is result. So the criteria of result is if the marks scored by a student is greater than equals to 50%, then the result is pass, otherwise result is fail. So we have to use if function, that is equals to if. Look at the syntax. The syntax is, it is having total three argument. First is logical test. So what is the logical test? The percentage scored by student 1, if it is greater than equals to 50%, then what will be the value? If this particular condition is returning true, the result will be pass. Otherwise, if this particular logical test is returning false, then what will be the value? The value will be fail. We'll close the bracket. Again, see, the result is pass. Again, we'll follow the same procedure. We'll select all the cells which are towards down and then we press Ctrl D. So here we are having the result of each and every student. Now we have to understand how to use VLOOKUP function. So VLOOKUP, as the table from which we have to extract the grade is being arranged vertically, that is why we are using VLOOKUP. As I already taught you in the class that there are various kind of lookups, like VLOOKUP is over there, HLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, index and match lookup. So here as the table is arranged in a vertical manner, that is why we are using VLOOKUP. So what is the way to use VLOOKUP? We will first of all press VL and then tab. This is VLOOKUP. How many arguments are there? So total 4 arguments are there. First is lookup value. So this is the lookup value which is lying in H4, comma. From where is the table array? From where we have to look for the value. So this is the table array. This table array has to be freezed. Reason behind, when we copy the formula, so this table array should not move according to the relative position of a cursor or a cell. It should be fixed. So that is why I have freezed this particular table. Then comma, from where we have to pick the value. If value is being found, so we have to pick from the second column, because VLOOKUP says that lookup value should always lie in leftmost column. So in the leftmost column, all the percentage are being given, and in another column, total 2 columns are there. In second column, grade is lying. So what we have to do? We have to actually select the column 2. From where we have to pick? We have to pick the value from the column 2, comma. Now see which kind of match we'll be doing. So here all the ranges of percentage scored by the students are not being given. Here all the marks like 0 to 100, all the marks are not being given. Those are infinite. But slabs are being given. From this particular table, it is very clear that if the student has scored marks from 0 to 49, student is fail. From 50 to 59, student will be having grade E. So range is being given, and within this range there are infinite number of you can say numbers which can lie. So which kind of match will be using? We'll be using approximate match, because if the number is lying within that range, then it will be going to pick the grade which is written against that. So what will do? I'll write true. So for this I'll press tab, or I can write 1 also. In case I'm typing true, I have to write in caps. In small case, if I'll write true, it will not take, because true is a keyword. Now I have to press enter, right? Again the same process we have to repeat. Select all the cells which are lying towards down and we have to press Ctrl D. So formula will be going to get copied in subsequent or adjacent cells. So you see, as these two students have scored marks less than 50%, the result is fail and grade is F, which is already mentioned here also. If as the marks over here is 83.40, so 83.40 will be lying over here, 80 to 89, the grade is B, hence the grade is appeared here as B. Here it is 97%, 97, 90 to 90 onwards, right? Because higher range is not been given, hence the grade is A. So this is the sheet 1 which is named as grade 1. Now look for grade 2 sheet. So if you look at the grade 2 sheet, minor changes over here. What is that? That the arrangement of marks is now is in the column, are lying in the column. Earlier it were lying in various different like you can say columns with respect to different rows, but here all the subject marks are mentioned or shown over here. If you look carefully here, see, this is row 4, this is row 5, this is row 6, row 7, row 8, and against each and every row the marks which is being scored by a single student Mohit Kumar is being mentioned, right, in a vertical manner, right, in a vertical manner. Marks are scored by Saloni in a vertical manner in column C. So little bit you can say you have transposed the table. So when the table has been transposed in that particular case, what we'll be doing, we have to first of all see that the table from which we have to extract the value is actually arranged in a vertical manner only. Hence we'll not be going to use the HLOOKUP function over here. Here also we'll be going to use HLOOKUP only, because the table from where we have to look the value is actually arranged in a vertical manner. So again, see what we'll be doing. We'll go over here, the simple sum formula. In the same way, sum, but now the marks we have to select are from the same column but lying in different rows. So the range will be B4 to B8. B will be common, only row number is changing, right? Now see, percentage equals to the total marks scored by a student and the total out of 500. Again, as I said before, this particular cell format should be percentage, so it is given over here that it is percentage. Now result, so what we'll write, equals to if this particular marks is greater than equals to, we can select the value from here also, 50. Then we have to freeze 50, right? In this case we have to freeze 50. So we'll freezing 50 because this is fixed cell, it should be fixed, it should not keep on changing when we'll be copying the formula, hence I am freezing it, comma. What is the result? Result will be pass. I am picking the value from the cell, again I have to freeze it because I'll be copying the formula. So this is the second way to use if function, comma. If the result is false, then the value will be, or the result will be fail, which I am picking from the cell only. So I'll again freeze this cell. So this is the another way out. Either we write manually or we can use pick the values from the cell also wherever the result is being mentioned. Now see grade, we have to use VLOOKUP function. VLOOKUP, I'll write just tab. This is the lookup value, comma. From this table I have to look for the value. So I have to freeze the table, comma. If the value is being found, then I have to pick the grade from second column and the match will be approximate, right? So I have freeze the table from where we have to look for the value. Now what we'll do, I will just select all these cells, and as I have to fill in subsequent cells which are lying adjacent to this, so either we can do in this way, I will say Control R. What I have to do to use this, to use Control R. Okay, or we can drag in this way also, here also. So I have to just select all the cell. It should work. Control R. It is not working. So I will drag this. I can drag this also. It will copy the formula. Again I'll drag this. It will copy the formula. Again I'll drag this. So it will copy the formula. I'll make it center align. And see, the result is same, only the way what is different is in arrangement of the values which are given, against which we have to perform further calculations. This is about VLOOKUP and if. How we'll be using VLOOKUP, how we'll be using if. In previous sheet what we did, we calculated the grade, but in that we have used nested if. So I think you have experienced that in nested if it is very difficult to just you know, write nested if, because might be there are chances of mistake, that might be you have not closed the bracket or you have not written the condition properly. But in VLOOKUP, it's very easy to use, like you can say, formula in complicated or complex situations also, wherein the table from which value has to be extracted is vertically arranged and the values are lying in different columns. So this is about sheet 3.1, which is lying in our NDIM website.